obviously, because this was a major diplomatic breakthrough and this is a big deal for the world and significantly reduces our chances of war, the Republicans do not like it. So let me just go through a roundup of the sort of kvetching you're hearing from Republicans. General Michael Hayden of torture and surveillance fame said, quote, "It took us 18 months to get an outline of a framework, and now we're going to get to the fine print in what, 3 months?" asked Hayden, who led both the CIA and National Security Agency. This is what he told Newsmax. "That shows you how difficult this is. We have just agreed Iran will be an industrial-strength nuclear state, and it will never be more than 1 year away from having a nuclear weapon." Okay, first of all, Iran already was an industrial-strength nuclear state. That's why we're having these negotiations. Right. There was no scenario under which Iran was going to give up its nuclear program. And I'll tell you what's interesting to me was the professor that joined me, his name escapes me, on Inside Story this morning, the Iranian professor. He said, actually, from a domestic perspective, he has a lot of problems with the nuclear program. He thinks it's a waste of money. There's plenty of critiques of this, but this government's not giving up that program, no matter the financial or environmental costs, and certainly not because the United States demands it. Then, of course, and this does get into the technical detail, which we will just for a moment, as President Obama outlined yesterday, as a result of this deal, Iran is now 1 year away from the capacity to build a weapon out of its current nuclear program, out of the nuclear program as reflected under the conditions of the framework. Previously to that, which is right now, Iran is 2 to 3 months away. So when you strip Michael Hayden's comments down, he's basically just said Iran still exists as it is and will exist tomorrow as it is unless we launch some insane war. And we've gone from 2 to 3 months to 1 year. About what, once again, is really important to emphasize is a completely ambiguous program to begin with. There is no clear proof that Iran wants a nuclear weapon. They've played a game of strategic ambiguity, and it's possible, and I'm sure some people within the Iranian leadership want a nuke, but speaking as if that is a predetermined and just a truism is false. It's inaccurate. It's not reflected by the intelligence, American, Israeli, or European. And it's certainly belied by everything that Iranians say in public. To the extent we take at face value what any political leadership says in public. Speaker Boehner, "My longtime concerns about the parameters of this potential agreement remain, but my immediate concern is the administration is signaling it will provide long-term sanctions relief, near-term sanctions relief." Yeah, that's the deal. Just go have a drink, man. Okay? You did it. You had Bibi over. You're traveling the Middle East now to Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and Israel. You've done a great job pretending you know something about this, which you clearly do not. And you're going to be able to fundraise off of this. So just calm down. It's okay. Now, I would say that Bob Corker, who actually comes off not quite as ridiculous as some of these other people, he's a little more dangerous. He's a senator from Tennessee because he has a increased sanctions now bill on Iran, which would totally detonate this agreement. And some Democrats have signed up for it. So keep your eye on that. In the short term, Obama can waive a lot of these sanctions unilaterally because it's a matter of national security. And the last thing I will say is I was surprised, and I always want to give credit where credit is due. Bill O'Reilly yesterday was talking to Gretchen Carlson about the deal. And O'Reilly's takeaway was this, quote, "You don't want war with Iran. You don't want to bomb that country. The unintended consequences will set the world aflame. So if you can get something decent, that's decent, you give it a shot," end quote. Well, good for you, Bill O'Reilly.